Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and pranams. Thank you all for joining in for our Krishna book study session today. We are starting with chapter number 61 today. Let's start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtake Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankajanaabhaya, Namo Pankajamaline, Namo Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangreye. Pahi Pahi Mahayogin, Deva Deva Jagatpate, Nanyam Tvadabhayam Pashe, Yatra Mrityu Parasparam. Krishna Krishna Mahabaho, Bhaktanam Abhayankara, Tvameko Dayamananam, Apavargosi Samshrute. Om Jnanatimirandasya, Jnananjana Shalakaya. चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्री चैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं भजना सहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauramani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrapatamaham Mande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanyamishwaram Harihi Om Tatsat Ajanulambito Bujau Kanakavadato Sankirtane Kapitaro Kamalayataksho Vishwambarao Dvijavarao Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakarao Karunavataro Aradya Bhagavan Rajesha Tanaya Stadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadu Varge Navakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumarto Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatra Dharana Para. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you very much for joining in for our Krishna book study session. So we are continuing with chapter number 61. This chapter is entitled The Genealogy of the Family of Krishna. So let's continue reading. Okay, Sridhar Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandat Pranam.
Chapter 61, The Genealogy of Family of Krishna. Krishna had 16,108 wives, and in each of them he begot 10 sons, all of them equal to their father in the opulence of strength, beauty, wisdom, fame, wealth, and reunification. Like father, like son. All the 16,108 wives of Krishna were princesses, and where each saw that Krishna was always present in her respective places and did not leave home. She considered Krishna is a henpecked husband and who was very much attached to her. Every one of them thought that Krishna was her very obedient husband, but actually Krishna had no attraction for any of them. although each thought that she was the only wife of Krishna and was very, very dear to him. Lord Krishna, being Atmarama, self-sufficient, felt neither attraction nor enmity towards any one of them. He was equal to all the wives and treated them as a perfect husband, would just to please them for him. There was no need to even a single wife. In fact, since they were the wives could not understand the exalted position of Krishna, nor the truth about him. All the princesses who were the wife of Krishna were extinguishedly beautiful, and each one of them were attracted by Krishna's eyes, which were just like lotus petals, and by his beautiful face, long arms, beautiful ears, pleasing smile, humorous talks, and sweet words. Influenced by these features of Krishna, they all used to dress themselves very attractively, desiring to attract him by their feminine bodily appeal. They exhibited their feminine characteristics by smiling and moving their eyebrows, thus shooting sharp arrow to the conjugal love just to awaken Krishna's lusty desire for them. Still, they could not arouse Krishna's mind or his sexual appetite. This means that Krishna never had any sexual relation with any of his many wives, save that except to beget children. The queen of Dwaraka were so fortunate that they got Lord Krishna as their husband and the personal companion. Although he is not approachable by exalted demigods like Brahma, Lord Krishna and his queens remained together as husband and wife, and Krishna as an ideal husband treated them in such a way that every moment there was an increase in transcendental bliss in their smiling exchanges, talking and mixing together. Each and every wife had the hundreds and thousands of maidservants, yet when Krishna entered the places of his thousands of wives, each one of them used to receive Krishna's personality by seating him in a nice chair, worshipping him with all request paraphernalia. Personality washing his lotus feet, offering his petal nuts, massaging his legs to relieve them to fatigue, fanning him to make him the comfortable, offering all kinds of scented sandalwood pulp, oil, and aromatic putting flowers, garlands on his neck, dressing his hair, getting him to lie down on the bed, and assisting him to taking bath. Thus he had served Krishna always in every respect, especially Krishna was eating. They always engaged in the service of Lord. Each Krishna's 16,108 queens had 10 sons. The sons were first 8 queens are listed as follows by Rukmani. Krishna had the following 10 sons: Pradyumna, Pradyumna, Charudeshna, Sudeshana, Charukya, Sucharu, Charupta, Bhadracharu, Charuchandra, Vichra, and Charu. None of them were inferior to their qualities to their divine father, Lord Krishna. The names of Satyabhama's 10 sons are as follows: Banu, Subhana, Swabhanu, Prahana, Banuman, Chandrabanu, Brahabanu, and Adibanu, Sribanu, and Pradibanu. The 10 sons next to Queen Jambavi were heated by Samba. Their names are as follows: Samba, Sumitra, Purjit, Satyajit, Sagarajit, Vijaya, Chitraketu, Vasuman, Dravida, and Kratu. The Lord Krishna was specially all affectionate to the sons of Jambavi. The 10 sons of Lord Krishna had by his wife Satya, the daughter of King Nagajit, were as follows: Mira, Chandra, Avishana, Chitrugu, Vegana, Vrisa, Ama, Sanhu, Vasu, and Kundi. Almost all of them. Kundi was the very powerful Krishna's powerful. Krishna's 10 sons were Kalandi were as follows: Shruta, Kavi, Vrisha, Vru, Subhanu, Bhadra, Chandi, Darsha, Purnamasa, and Somkya, the youngest son. The 10 sons of the Lord Krishna begat in next wife Lakshmana, the daughter of King Madras provinces, were named Pragosha, Kadravan, Simha, Bala, Prabhala, Urdaka, and Mahashakti, Osha, Oja, and Aprachita. The tens of his next son, Mriduvida, were as the follows: Briga, Arsha, Anila, Grigara, Vardhana, Unnada, Magasa, Pavana, Vahini, and Kastini. The 10 sons of his knife wife Bandra were named Sangramich, Bragastina, Sura, Pragarana, Arjit, Jaya, Subhadra, Subhadra, Vama, Ayur, and Satyaka. Besides of these 8 chief queens, Krishna had 16,100 other wives, and all of them also had 10 sons each. The eldest son of Rukmani, Pradyumna, was married the Mayavati from his very birth, and afterwards he married Rukma Devi, the daughter of his material uncle. Rukmi from Rukma Devi, Pradyumna had a son named Aniruddha. In this way, Krishna's family, Krishna and his wife, along with their sons and grandsons and even great-grandsons, all combined together to include very nearly 1 billion family members. Rukmani, the elder brother of Krishna's first wife, Rukmi, was greatly harassed and insulted in his fight with Krishna. But on the request of Rukmani, his life was spared. Since then, Rukmani held a great grudge against Krishna and was always inimical towards him. Nevertheless, his daughter married Krishna's son, and his granddaughter married Krishna's grandson Aniruddha. This fact appeared a little astonishing to Maharaja Parishit when he heard it from Sukdev Goswami, and the king addressed him as follows: I am surprised that Rukmani and Krishna, who were greatly inimical to one another, could again be united by the material relationship between their descendants. Parishit Maharaja was curious about the mystery of this incident, and therefore he inquired the Sukdev Goswami. Because Sukdev Goswami was the perfect yogi, nothing was hidden from his power of insight. A perfect yogi like Sukdev Goswami can see the past, present, and future in all details. Therefore, from such yogis of mysteries, nothing can be concealed. When Parishit Maharaja inquired from Sukdev Goswami, Sukadev Goswami answered as follows: Pradyumna, the eldest son Krishna, born Rukmani, was Cupid himself. He was so beautiful and attractive that the daughter of Rukmi, named Rukma Devi, could not select any husband other than Pradyumna during his Swayamvara. Therefore, in that selection meeting, she garlanded Pradyumna in the presence of all the other princes. When there was a fight among the princes, Pradyumna came out victorious, and therefore Rukmi was obliged in offer his beautiful daughter to Pradyumna. Although enmity always blazed in Rukmi's heart because of his having been insulted by Krishna's kidnapping of his sister, Rukmi could not resist consenting the marriage ceremony just to please Rukmini when his daughter selected Pradyumna as her husband. And so Pradyumna became the son-in-law as well as the nephew of Rukmi. Besides the 10 sons described above, the Rukmi had one beautiful daughter with big eyes, and she married to Kridavarma's son, who named was Bali. Although, thank
you.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
So we see the wonderful lineage of Krishna's dynasty, right? So all of these, the names that we read, every queen is having 10 sons, right? 16,108 into 10, 1,61,080 sons Krishna had, right? And it is also mentioned here that Krishna was not attracted or attached to any one of them, right? There are two things, the difference between attachment and affection. Attachment means you are simply attached to that person and you want that person to be the cause of your sense gratification. Right? If I'm attached to somebody, that I want that person to talk to me, I want that person to serve me, and in this way I demand a lot of things from that person. That means I'm attached to that person. I want that person to do what I tell him to do. That is attachment. But what is affection? Affection means to help that person attain that person's desires, or to help that person, to teach that person dharma. Right? Like, for example, we are affectionate to our children, so we want our children to become devotees. So we give them every possible opportunity to chant Hare Krishna, to attend the Bhagavad Gita classes, to take them to yatra, to various places of pilgrimage, etc. That means when we are affectionate to somebody, we are bothered about their welfare. Whereas if we are attached to somebody, we simply want to hold them, so that they can help us fulfill all of our desires. Right? So sometimes if we wanted her to become a doctor and we could not become a doctor, then we want our son or daughter to become a doctor. Those desires I could not fulfill. I will now utilize my sons and daughters to utilize those desires. Right? So that is attachment. Right? Some or the other, they have to give pleasure to me. But affection means you give them the free will. So Krishna is affectionate towards us. So same way Krishna is affectionate towards the queens. That's why he went and he abducted Rukmini, taking into account the various contents of the letter written by Rukmini. But Krishna is not attached to anyone. Right? Krishna does what is right. Krishna does what is suitable for the particular time, place, and circumstance. And to become the wife of Krishna and the sons of Krishna is not an ordinary thing. Right? These are all people who have been great sages, who've done so much of tapa, right? So much of austerity and penances to become a family member of Lord Sri Krishna. So that's what is mentioned here, the so many wives, especially the 8 principal wives of Krishna, and also the other 16,000 wives, 16,100 wives. Right? Out of which 16,100 was the princesses who were abducted by Narakasura, right? And when Krishna protected them, then they all desired to become the wives of Krishna, and Krishna married all of them. So all of the queens had 10 sons with Lord Sri Krishna, and it is so fortunate to become the family members of Lord Sri Krishna. They must have learned a lot of tapasya like that. Okay, who wants to read the last section, couple of 3-4 more paragraphs of this chapter? Anyone who has not read thus far would like to read? Okay, Sarvagopi Shri Mataji, go ahead. Although Rukmi was a veritable enemy of Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam Mataji. Although Rukmi was a veritable enemy of Krishna, he had a great affection for his sister Rukmini, and wanted to please her in all respects. On this account, when Rukmini's grandson Aniruddha was to be married, Rukmi offered his granddaughter Rochana to Aniruddha. Such a marriage between immediate cousins is not very much sanctioned by the Vedic culture. But in order to please Rukmi offered his daughter and granddaughter to the son and grandson of Krishna, respectively. In this way, when the negotiation of the marriage of Aniruddha with Rochana was complete, a big marriage party accompanied Aniruddha and started from Dwaraka. They traveled until they reached Bojakata, which Rukmi had colonized after his sister had been kidnapped by Krishna. This marriage party was led by the grandfather, namely Lord Krishna, accompanied by Lord Balrama, and it included Krishna's first wife Rukmini, his son Pradyumna, Jambavati's son Samba, and many other relatives and family members. They reached the town of Bojakata, and the marriage ceremony was peacefully performed. The king of the Kalinga was a friend of Rukmi and gave him the ill advice to play chess with Balrama and thus defeat him in a bet. Among Kshatriya kings, gambling on chess was not uncommon. If someone challenged a Kshatriya to play on the chessboard, the Kshatriya could not refuse the challenge. Shri Balramji was not a very expert chess player, and this was known to the king of Kalinga. So Rukmi was advised to retaliate against the family members of Krishna by challenging Balarama to play the chess. Although not an expert chess player, Shri Balramji was very enthusiastic in sporting activity. He accepted Rukmi's challenge and sat down to play. Betting was with gold coins, and Balrama first of all challenged with 100 coins. then 1,000 points, then 10,000 points. Each time Balrama lost and Rukmi was victorious. Sri Balrama's losing the game was an opportunity for the king of Kalinga to criticize Krishna and Balrama. Thus, the king of Kalinga was talking jokingly while purposefully showing his teeth to Balrama because Balrama was the loser in the game. He was a little intolerant of the sarcastic joking words and became somewhat agitated. Rukmi again challenged Balrama and made a bet of 100,000 gold coins. But fortunately, this time Balrama won. Nonetheless, out of cunningness, Rukmi claimed that Balrama was the loser and that he himself had won. Because of this lie, Balramji became most angry with Rukmi. His agitation was so sudden and great that it appeared like a tidal wave in the ocean on a full moon day. Balrama's eyes are naturally reddish, and when he became agitated and angry, his eyes became more reddish. This time he challenged and made a bet of 100 million points. Again, Balrama was the winner according to the rules of the chess, but Rukmi again cunningly claimed that he had won. Rukmi appealed to the princes present and he especially mentioned the name of the king of Kalinga. During the dispute there was a voice from the sky and it announced that for all honest purposes, Balrama was the actual winner of this game, that he was being abused, and that the statement of Rukmi that he had won was absolutely false. In spite of this divine voice, Rukmi insisted that Balrama had lost, and by his persistence, it appeared that he had death upon his head. Falsely puffed up by the ill advice of his friend, he did not give much importance to the oracle and he began to criticize Balramji. He said, "My dear Balramji, you two brothers, coward boys only, may be very expert in tending the cows, but how can you be expert in playing chess or shooting arrows on the battlefield? These arts are well known only to the princely orders." Hearing this kind of pinching talk by Rukmi and hearing the loud laughter of all the other princes present there, Lord Balrama became as agitated as burning cinders. He immediately took his club in his hand and without the further talk, struck Rukmi on the head. From that one blow, Rukmi fell down immediately and was dead and gone. Thus, Rukmi was killed by Balrama on that auspicious occasion of Aniruddha's marriage. These things are not very uncommon in Kshatriya society. The king
Hare
of
Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Haribol. They say Vinasha Kale Viparita Buddhi, like that, When things have to go wrong, then our intelligence will only drag us down. Right. So Rukmini was winning. He was the brother of Rukmini, the wife of Lord Krishna. So everything was going well for him, right? He should have been happy that Krishna chose to marry his sister, and he also had the opportunity to give his daughter and his granddaughter in marriage, to Krishna's son and grandson, right? What a privilege and what a prestigious opportunity, right? But then what is it? Vinashakali Viparita Buddhi, right? Somehow or the other, if he played chess, and even even Dharma, right? Dharmaraj, Yudhishthira Maharaj also he played this game of dice, this game of chess, and it makes one such that one loses one's intelligence. Right, all of these frivolous sports, it's called, right? What is that? No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, illicit sex. So all these games, where they bet on money. I will give you this, you will give me this money if it happens like that. And even there was some lecture also by devotee who was saying even this intraday trading also, like you put 100 rupees in 1 hour, it will become 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, like that. All this expecting fast money without any hard work. These are all gambling. Why? Because the results can give us a lot of anxiety, and an anxious mind cannot chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra peacefully. So it is said that you have to work hard with a sincere labor, with determination, patience, and we should work for the pleasure of the Lord. We should not expect fast results. Without any work, I want money only. Right? That if you have to want Lakshmi, we have to work for it. Right? Because everybody have earned their money in a hard way, with sincerity, by working hard, then only money will stay. Otherwise, Lakshmi Devi is very chanchal. Right? Even if those who have earned money in a hard way, working, foaming in the mouth, for them also Lakshmi Devi does not stay. Lakshmi Devi is only one eternal place. That is at the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Right? Everywhere else, Lakshmi Devi will go away. Right. So in this case, Rukmi already had won also. Right. Yeah, and generally the propensity is always to cheat and one engages in gambling matches. So that's why Rukmi, although he was winning and then he lost, but every time he was trying to pull down Balaram, saying that you've lost, etc. And Balaram, Balaram actually also killed Roma Harshana, right? Because he did not give him respect. So Balaram is easily angered, right? When someone does not follow the protocol, does not follow the dharma, Balaram gets very angry, right? Even tells the Yamuna Devi, if you don't come means I'll pull you with my mace and plow, like that, right? So in this way, Rukmi angered Balaram and Balaram immediately killed Rukmi. Then maybe Rukmi was killed on that. That was also Aniruddha's marriage occasion, right? But in those days, like Prabhupada is saying, those things are common when at those times when these princely kings came forward for marriage or anything, there always used to be some fight and somebody gets killed. That's normal in a Kshatriya dynasty, like that. Okay, iPhone. Who's iPhone, by the way? iPhone can unmute. Who's this?
Me, Mataji, Hema. Hema, Mataji.
Okay,
I just got an iPhone. My children have got me the iPhone Pro 16 because I didn't get for 8-10 years. So they said, now, Mama, I'm gifting you a New Year gift. So that is the gift they have given me for New Year. I told them I don't want. They forcefully bought and gave me.
You're using the iPhone in Krishna service by hearing Krishna book. Very nice. Yes, Mataji, you can continue reading. The king of Kalinga.
The king of Kalinga, afraid that he would be the next one attacked, fled from the scene before he could escape even a few steps. However, Balramji immediately captured him, and because the king had always shown his teeth while criticizing Balrama and Krishna, Balrama broke all the king's teeth with his club. The other princes supporting the king of Kalinga and Rukmani were all captured, and Balrama beat them with his club, breaking their legs and hands. They did not try to retaliate, but thought it was wise to run away from the bloody scene. During the during the strife between Balrama and Rukmani, Lord Krishna did not utter a word, for, for he knew that if he supported Balrama, Rukmani would be unhappy, and if he said that the killing of Rukmi was unjust, then Balrama would be unhappy. Therefore, Lord Krishna was silent on the death of his brother-in-law, Rukmi, on the occasion of his grandson's marriage. He did not disturb his affectionate relationship with either Balrama or Rukmani. After this, the bride and the bridegroom were so ceremoniously seated on this chariot and they started for Dwarka, accompanied by the bridegroom's party. The bridegroom's party was always protected by Lord Krishna, the killer of the Madhu demon. Thus they left Rukmi's kingdom, Bhuj Katha, and happily started for Dwarka. Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 61st chapter of Krishna, the genealogy of the family of Krishna. Okay, let's move to the next chapter. We have some more time. We have about 10-15 minutes. The meeting of Usha and Aniruddha. So we are continuing the genealogy of Lord Krishna. Right? Lord Krishna was 125 years during the battlefield of Kurukshetra only. So after that, we're talking about Krishna's sons and grandsons, and in this way it's going on. Right? And yet Krishna is always a handsome youth. And Krishna is very diplomatic. Krishna, all the best qualities. Krishna knows when to talk, when not to talk, when to take sides, when to fight, when not to fight, when to remain quiet. Everything. The master of everything is our Lord Sri Krishna. So we can learn and understand from Lord Sri Krishna, and pray to Krishna. We cannot imitate Krishna, but we can pray to Krishna. Krishna, give me the intelligence so that I know when to talk, when not to talk, how much to talk, when not to talk. In this way, may I use all of my senses in your service, O Krishna. Like that, if you pray, Krishna will give us intelligence. Okay, Shobha Mataji, go ahead. The meeting of Usha and Aniruddha. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam Mataji Samprabhuji, Sesi Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Chapter 62 of Krishna book, The meeting of Usha and Aniruddha. The meeting of Aniruddha and Usha which caused a great fight between Lord Krishna and Lord Shiva, is very mysterious and interesting. Maharaja Parikshit was eager to hear the whole story from Sukadeva Goswami, and then Sukadeva narrated it. My dear king, you must have heard the name of King Bali. He was a great devotee who gave away in charity all that he had, namely the whole world, to Lord Vamana, the incarnation of Vishnu as a draft Brahmana. King Bali had 100 sons, and the eldest of all of them was Bhanasura. This great hero, Bhanasura, born of Maharaja Bali, was a great devotee of Lord Shiva and was always ready to render service unto him. Because of his devotion, Bhanasura achieved a great position in society and he was honored in every respect. Actually, he was very intelligent and liberal also. And his activities are all praiseworthy because he never deviated from his promise and word of honor. He was very truthful and fixed in his vow. In those days, he was ruling over the city of Sonitapura by the grace of Lord Shiva. Bhanasura had 1,000 arms and he became so powerful that even demigods like King Indra were serving him most obediently. Long ago, when Lord Shiva was dancing in his celebrated fashion called Tandava Nritya, for which he is known as Natraja, Bhanasura helped Lord Shiva in his dancing by rhythmically beating drums with his 1,000 hands. Lord Shiva is very well known as Ashutosh, very easily pleased, and he is also very affectionate to his devotees. He is a great protector for persons who take shelter of him and is the master of all living entities in this material world. Being pleased with Bhanasura, he said, "Whatever you desire, you can have from me, for I am very much pleased with you." Banasura replied, "My dear lord, if you please, you can remain in my city just to protect me from the hands of my enemies." Once upon a time, Banasura came to offer his respect to Lord Shiva by touching the lotus feet of Lord Shiva with his helmet, which was shining like the sun globe. He offered his obeisances unto him. While offering his respectful obeisances, Banasura said, "My dear Lord, anyone who has not fulfilled his ambition will be able to do so by taking shelter of your lotus feet, which are just like a desert tree from which one can take anything he desires. My dear Lord, you have given me 1,000 alms, but I do not know what to do with them. They are simply a burden. I cannot use them properly in fighting since I cannot find anyone competent to fight with me except your Lordship, the original father of the material world. Sometimes I feel a great tendency to fight with my arms, and I go out to find a suitable variant. Unfortunately, everyone flees, knowing me extraordinary power. Being baffled at not finding a match, I satisfy the itching of my arms by beating them against the mountains. In this way, I tear many great mountains to pieces. Lord Shiva realized that his benediction had become troublesome for Banasura and addressed him. "You rascal, you are very eager to fight, but since you have no one to fight with, you are distressed. Although you think that there is no one in the world to oppose you except me, I say that you will eventually find such a completed person. At that time, your days will come to an end, and your flag of victory will no longer fly. Then you will see your false prestige smashed into pieces." After hearing Lord Shiva's statement, Bhanasara, who was very much puffed up with his power, began elated that he would meet someone able to smash him to pieces. Banasura then returned to home with great pleasure, and he always waited for the day when the suitable fighter would come to cut down his strength. He was such a foolish demon. He appears that foolish, demoniac human beings, when unnecessarily overpowered with material opulences, want to exhibit these opulences, and such foolish people feel satisfaction when these opulences are exhausted. The idea is that they do not know how to expand their energy for right causes, being unaware of the benefit of Krishna consciousness. Actually, there are two classes of men. One is Krishna conscious and the other is non Krishna conscious. The non Krishna conscious men are generally devoted to the demigods, whereas the Krishna conscious men are devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna conscious person utilizes everything for the service of the Lord. The non Krishna conscious person utilizes everything for sense gratification. And Bhanasura is a perfect example of such a person. For his own satisfaction, he was very eager to utilize his extraordinary power to fight. Not finding any combatant, he struck his powerful arms against the mountains, breaking them to pieces. In contrast to this, Arjuna also possessed extraordinary powers for fighting, but he utilized them only for Krishna.
Hare.
Banasura had a very beautiful daughter. Haribol. Thank you, Mataji. Dandavats.
Thank you. Thank you, Danat Pranam. So we'll continue this tomorrow. So we already at 150. So I was just thinking, one has great powers even then because one does not know how to utilize it in the service of the Lord. What is happening? That person is, he wants to use it for destructive purposes. He's got so much of wealth. I mean, he's got so much of strength. He's not finding an opponent whom he can fight with. So he's going and banging against the mountains and breaking his hands. It is so it is so stupid, right? But people think that people think and feel satisfied by causing some kind of disruption, right? Because they have so much of power and they don't know how to utilize that power in the service of the Lord. They use these powers for destruction. That is a sad state of affairs, even in this material world, right? Although we may have a lot of things to do, right? Instead of directing everything in the service of the Lord, we are directing everything towards sense gratification. Means that we are actually not making the proper utility of the resources, the skills, the talents, everything that's given to us. That's a very sad state of affairs. So we should understand whether we are demoniac in our activities or we are devoted in our activities. If you utilize everything in the service of the Lord, then we are divine. Otherwise, we are demoniac. And also Prabhupada again makes a point here that those who are extremely attached to sense gratification, they only worship the devatas. Right? Kamaistaste hirtajnana prapadyate anya devataha. Those who are extremely attached to sense gratification, only they worship the demigods. The rest of the devotees, they only worship Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, like that. So we'll continue this chapter 61 on Monday. No, Monday, Tuesday, we'll do Bhagavatam, right? So next Wednesday, we'll continue this chapter. So there are about 10, 12 paragraphs more. This is about the meeting of Usha and Aniruddha. So we'll continue this on next Wednesday. And then we'll also see about how Lord Krishna will fight with this Banasura and get this Banasura killed, like that. So let's do Harinam Sankirtan. Request devotees to switch on your cameras. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prithaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Nami Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pratari Nirshite Chachundi Namari Shri Krishna Chari Krishna Chaitanya Namo Nityananda Krishna Dvaita Sarada Shiva Sadhipi Gaura Bhakta Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Gaura Nitai Hare Krishna Devastate Hare Krishna Hare Rukmini Vitsil Jaya Pralad Sachu Rupa Sintara Jaya Prabhu Padam Deva Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan Mahayagni ki jai, Anant Koji Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Shobha Mataji, Shekhar Prabhu, Rajeshwari Mataji, Harjit Mataji, Namesh Prabhuji, Karpakavali Mataji, Archana Mataji, Sarvagopishri Mataji, and all the devotees. Thank you very much. Vancha Kalpatrobhyascha, Napasindu Bhyevacha, Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha, Anand Gauri Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Itai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, devotees. Meet you all tomorrow morning, 5 o'clock for the Brahma Murta chanting session. And then we'll meet on Sunday, also tomorrow, Saturday, We'll meet on Brahma Muhurta chanting session, and then we'll meet on Monday for Srimad Bhagavatam study at 1 o'clock. We'll have Harjit Mataji reciting the verse and explaining the meaning. All right. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Anand Pranams. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki